What's up, guys? We're going to be working on the part 2 of Dan's final. I think the last video was a little bit longer than you guys wanted to sit through, so I'll make this one a little bit quicker. I do have comments here, so if you get lost, you'll be able to revert back to those. So essentially what he wants us to do is we have this dictionary, which is going to be a very long list, 99, I think it's either 9,999 or 99,000, I'm not sure. A lot of different passwords. This is a dictionary of potential passwords in plain text. So what he wants us to do is take all of these plain text passwords and try and see if they are in the passwords.txt file. So this admin, this is a username, and this is a hashed password. So I'll tell you guys right now, the password for this hash is actually password. If you actually just Google this hash, I showed Ken this, you will be able to see that this hash is actually password. So the username is admin and the password is password. Well, if we weren't able to just Google that, we would have to crack that password by comparing it to this dictionary list. So that's what we're going to do in this script. So these are your usernames, these are your hashed passwords using SHA-1 hash. There are a bunch of different hashing algorithms like MD5, SHA-1. We've learned about these, so it might be helpful to get a refresher on those. So we're going to be using the hashlib library, which allows us to deal with hashed functions and passwords and hashed anything really. So we're going to import that. I don't think you need to pip get install it, but if you do, open your terminal, pip install hashlib, and you should have it that way. So going from the beginning, first off, we want to be able to open dictionary and passwords. We're obviously going to be needing to access both of these, so it makes sense at the very top of our script that we're going to open them. And the way I do it is I set a variable a and b. A is going to be equal to opening dictionary, and b is going to be equal to opening passwords. The format is your file name, comma, and on whatever mode. For now, we're just reading from the file, so we do R. You guys might be wondering what the plus means. That means we're also going to be able to write to it. R means read, the plus sign means write also. So, now that we have opened those files and we're reading from them, what do we want to do? Well, for starters, we're going to create empty lists that will store the SHA-1 hashes. So, really simple, just create 3 empty lists. One list is going to have the list of passwords right here. Another list is going to have the dictionary passwords, which is all of these. And the third one is going to be the raw strings, which will be all of these encoded in SHA-1 hash. So we can compare it to these 4 hashes, which are in SHA-1, and see what the actual plain text password is. So 3 lists, and then we need to iterate over the passwords text file to create a list of hash passwords. So we actually need to go ahead and create for line B. We're actually going to Okay, alright. We're actually going to, we're iterating over this file, over these passwords, in order to get rid of these usernames, because we don't want these usernames in our list. We don't care about the usernames. All we care about is the passwords. So right here, we're going to do a for loop. So for line, whatever variable you want to say, you can do for x, whatever. in B is our passwords.txt that we have opened right here, B. So for line of B, we're going to set a variable A1, could be whatever you want, and we're going to strip the new line and replace it with nothing, essentially. So what we're doing in this line right here is we're opening this file and we're taking away this space, and we're taking away the new line character, which is added to the end of every file. It looks like that, dash new line, you just can't see it, but it's there. So that's what that line's doing, and we're appending that to our list. So right here, if I were to print the list right here, our empty list, it would have these 4 passwords, and that's it. We're getting rid of the usernames and we're getting rid of the new line character. Now that we have those 4 raw passwords, we're going to take out the username and the string of the hash passwords list. So this is going to take out the usernames in this right here, so these are no longer in here. Yeah, so for right here, I set it wrong. We're actually just getting rid of the new line and the spaces, so that way this is just one big thing, looks like that. And then in this one down here, we're actually getting rid of admin Jimbo 0 Dade, which are admin Jimbo 0 Dade, because we don't want those in our list. This looks really complicated. I had to look up what this even means, but essentially it's just a way to get rid of those characters within this file. So if you want to go ahead and look through that, we're saying for I and V in enumerate lists. Enumerate, if you really want to know, you can look it up, but this is what you would type to get rid of those in that list. Now we're going to be adding raw strings and dictionary.txt to raw strings. So we're taking these raw strings that are in dictionary.txt. So we're taking all of these and we're converting them to SHA-1 hashes, which will be held in raw strings. So we can check them over these guys. So we're saying for string in A, so for string, could be whatever you want to call it, in A, which is our dictionary, we're going to strip the new line, just like we did here. We're stripping that new line character, so there's no more -n at the end. You just don't see it, it's invisible. We're stripping that new line, and we're appending it to our list. We're appending it to raw strings. So now we would have a list of all of this with no new line character, and now we can iterate through them to convert them to SHA-1. So we're going to do a for loop, so for string in raw strings. Raw strings is our list up here of all of these that we just put in there. We're going to hash them, so we're going to say hashing equals, we're going to use the hashlib library, and we want SHA-1, so type SHA-1, and inside the SHA-1 function we have to encode it first. Now after you encode it, you can have the hash string equal to hashing dot hex the digest. So we're saying hash string equals the hashed password, and then .hex digest, which allows us to read it. And then we're going to append those hashes to our dictionary list, which is going to be the dictionary list of hashed passwords. Now we need to create a master dictionary that will have the hashes as the key and the raw strings as their value. So we're gonna create this big dictionary that's going to have a key as the long hash, and it's going to have the value as that hashed, the real plain text password for that, if that makes sense. So what it would look like is it would look like this long string. It would look just like this actually. It'd have this long string and then whatever word correlated to this wrong string decoded. So that's what we're doing right here, master dict, and we're creating that dictionary. Now we need to iterate through that dictionary to determine if any of these, when we encode them, are these right here. We want to reverse check them. That's what we're doing here. So we're saying for key value in master dict dot items. Dot items is a way to iterate through your key and your value within a dictionary. We're saying if key in lists. We're saying if the key, which the key is going to be right here. If this is in, we're essentially saying if one of these is equivalent to this in the hashed form, we're going to print the key. So we're going to print that key. So we print right here, we print London. We print London is in the SHA-1 hash. So it's in here. And that hash value would be the value, which the value right here is going to be this hash. And then at the very end, we always want to close the files. So that's the entire script. There's a lot of steps involved, so it's easy to get lost in them, but there's comments here. So if we went ahead and ran this, it's going to take a second because, again, it's going through almost 10,000 words. Here we go. It's giving us, this is what, so if you have this exactly what I have, it's going to say, this string is in the SHA-1 hash for password. So what this is saying is right here, the 5BAA, it is the SHA-1 hash for password. So if you come here, 5BAA is the hash for password. So like I said earlier, admin password. So Jimbo would be MT73SB would be Jimbo, which is the C99, I believe. This, oh no, C99 is 0, cool. So there you go. Here's your 4 hashes in this passwords file, and the equivalent is password here, here, and here. And that's it.